Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're well. Hi, my name is Bev. I'm from Be Crafty, and today we're going to be doing some mini art journaling. It is warm, isn't it? So I just thought, you know, a bit of quick art journaling sounds fabulous because, as much as anything, I find the less creating I do, the harder it is to be creative. So I think if you can just set aside a bit of time, and I appreciate that is harder when it's warm, but just to make something quick. So we're going to go into, I'll tell you what, actually zoom in just a little bit. You said I was hoping, oh, that was a lot. I was still sat down. Is that okay? That's okay, I think. All right, so we're going to be working in this mini notebook. I have done lots of pages here on Crafting Together with All Brands using this mini notebook. It's such a fantastic thing to do because it's a great size. It's not too, what's the word? It's not a demanding way to do it because of the size. So I thought what I'd do as well, I'm going to use some of our new Catalyst Collage. So this is from the A5 Painted Gaze set. Now these are available in A5 and A4. They were only going to be available in A4, but Sally from our creative team, she's a very demanding little lady, to be fair. She's fabulous though, so we give her what she wants. So she requested these in A5, and I do think these are going to be cracking for this little book. Oh, thank you, Sammy. I like my little book too. I really think that I'm going to have to give in and take out the last couple of signatures and just admit defeat that it is full. Right, so we're going to work on what I have been really good at, and I'm not one for giving myself props or snaps or anything like that, but what I have been particularly good at in this book is not moving ahead beyond where I should. And what I mean by that is, if I do the right hand page first, which I inevitably do, if I do my right hand, I immediately do the left one. I don't just carry on doing all the right hand pages, which is something I used to do a lot. But then the problem with that is you then have to do a load of left-handed pages in a row, and I just do find them more difficult generally. You can help that out by, if you've got a couple of ink pads, you can just put them over. But as you get further in the book, that doesn't help as much as it once did. Okay, so I wanted to, so in the Painted Gaze, there are several portraits. This one, even in an A5, is going to be too big, but obviously you could, of course, use the sections off your cover sheet. Now, the Catalyst Collage is a 60 GSM high quality paper, so it's weightier than tissue or something like that, but it is still really lightweight, so if you're using it to cover things, you do have that real flexibility with it as well, which I really like. So I've picked this portrait one here to put in. Now, in fairness, it's going to be tight and she's not all going to be in there, so what we're going to do is we're just going to sort of cut it down a little bit, put it in, and then see where we end up. I'm not going to overthink, I'm not going to overplan, but I think it's safe to say we're not going to get this bottom section in, so let's just cut that off right now. Okay, and I don't think we're going to get all the top section in, so let's cut that off right now. And you know what, I'm going to go there as well. So I think that's the best we can hope for. Now, in fairness, I think that's sitting quite lovely. But what I might do, no, we'll go edge to edge. We'll go edge to edge. So, right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some of my matte medium. I can't write, I'm absolutely roasting. Is anyone else roasting? Sam, tell me you're not sat in your conservatory. Sam, if you're sat in your conservatory, please leave the live and go and sit somewhere else. I'm in a tiny cupboard in the middle of my house. Sam works in a conservatory, and in this heat, I don't think that's safe. Okay, so I'm going to take some matte medium here, and I'm going to go all over my page. And then I'm going to go all over the back of my Catalyst Collage as well. Unsurprisingly, glue sticks to glue very well. Okay, I'm just going to put that in there, give it a little move around about sort of where I'd like it. There we go. I won't lie, this is going on really, really well. I'm really, really happy with it. Obviously, I was quite worried at one stage, is she going to fit? But she really is. So that is beautiful. Now, this Painted Gaze pack, I did use the A4 version on YouTube on Tuesday. I do a Try It Out Tuesday, every Tuesday at 8 PM on the Be Crafty YouTube channel. And I don't know if I put the lid on that so tightly. So I used the A4 version and made this here. Okay, I did sort of overlay with a lot of pinks and blues, and I used transparency prints. I got an absolute stack of products out. So you can go and check that out if you'd like to see that in the A4. Okay. But what I did find that was very, very exciting is the colours in the Painted Gaze. This is when I was selecting my products. The colours in the Painted Gaze really coordinate well with some of the Catalyst cards. And not only that, I've got some prepped stamped ephemera from using those specific colours of Catalyst cards. And look at those. Don't they work? I mean, that's the sort of fabulously going together that I wish I could tell you was perfectly planned. But it's not. It's just a happy coinkydink. And I generally am not a big one for coincidence. But, you know, when it's in my favour, I'm probably a bit more. Right, so what we're going to do now, because to be fair, it kind of looks a bit, you know, she doesn't know what she's doing, which is fair. So at this point, I'm going to trim around the outside to the size of the page. If you prefer more of a junk journal style and you're not really, you're not a paper trimmer, you like the overhanging bits, and then you do you, absolutely. Okay, this is one of those I'm not telling you what to do. Right, I wouldn't dare. Right, so then you see, and I have to say, I do think the new Catalyst Collage really do lean themselves into junk journaling very well. It's just not something I'm particularly gifted at the minute. I want to get better at it, that's for sure. All right, so then we have our lovely portrait from the Painted Gaze there. Now, this is quite solid, and if you look at a lot of my pages, not all, but some of them are not. See, that's a good edge-to-edge one, actually. So I do edge-to-edge. But they are more broken down. So we're going to sort of take it back a step. And a really good way to do that is with, you could take some gesso to it and knock it back a little if you wanted. You can also use texture pastes and things like that, which is, I think, what we're going to add in now. So I'm going to get some grit paste, and I'm going to get some D'Inkables. Now I think I'm going to go for just the regular dots D'Inkable from D'Inkable set 2. We have lots of sets of D'Inkables on the Be Crafty website. They are sets of 5 Mylar templates, stencils, and this is one of those. It's a collection we keep adding to because we still go back and use the early ones a lot. The real sort of, you know, but there's something for everyone in there. And if you are building your stencil collection, the D'Inkables are a fantastic way to do it. All right, so let me get some grit paste. We'll start here and work our way out. My grit paste has dried up a little bit. Let me get a mister. Everything's dried up a bit in this weather, hasn't it? Okay. I'm just going to put a bit of that in there. And then get my palette knife and just mix it up a little bit. Don't get me wrong, it will always get to a stage where it's actually non-salvageable anymore. But I've still got a little bit left that I'm going to be able to save. So I'm just going to mix that up. Okay. So I'm going to pick that up. I probably should have picked like a shorter. I'm actually going to go for this palette knife because, so I'm going to swap that over. This one's a bit more rigid because the paste is a little bit stiff. I'm going to put that white on there and then a little bit more here, because that also works really well with the dots that are on the print as well. Hi Moira, hi to everybody else I haven't seen as well. Okay, so we're going to put that on. I'm also going to take, is this dry? Of course it is. I'm going to take my, before I do anything else, I'm going to take my Posca, my white Posca. Now, something all of the pages in this book share is a faux stitch around the edge. Sometimes it's in black, sometimes it's in white, dependent on what works best with that page. Because it doesn't... Art journaling isn't about rules, okay? It's about exploring your creativity in a way that you can keep, you can refer back to, and you can just have fun with. So, you know, it's not something that has to be explained or whatever. So I do try. When I used to be primarily a scrapbooker, long ago, I was a very regimented crafter and things had to be evil. Evil? Even. Just Freudian slip there. And balanced and all this sort of thing. And what I love about art journaling is it sort of really opened up the creativity for that. And that I do always refer back to Diane Reevely. It was her sprays that sort of freed my mind creatively. Okay, so I actually think this is coming together really well. And as I don't want to go over the portrait too much, I'm probably not going to add a lot more to this, which is great for everybody that's already cooking. All right, I think what I am going to do is actually just take back my Posca here and just add in some dots into the middle of these circles that are on her hair, because I think that just highlights those. And then I might do some of her clothing. I love the sort of 1920s feel of this. I really do. And then we'll get some Wordy stickers, but I can't decide whether to go with white or black. So let's get the Wordy stickers folder out. I think I'm going to go with white because I really want the black focus of the portrait to stay with her. Okay, so I think I always say I'm going to write the number on these when I get them, but I never do. I do believe this is from Wordy Sticker Set 2. There's lots of flowers on here. Flowers? The words aren't wording, are they? I'm reading and talking at the same time. There are lots of sentiments on here. Some of these are run over several stickers. Some of them are just one piece. Okay. So, for example, no regrets if you tried your hardest. So obviously that's a 3-stage sticker sentiment. But then you've got love unconditionally, which is just one. But you can mix and match them up. You can make longer phrases, which is great. Obviously, you're... what is it they say? You're unlimited, your imagination. I'm sure that's toy companies say that. So let's go for... See, is that too big to go on there? I had planned to put that there. I'm going to leave that there and you guys can have a think about that whilst I go. Because I actually really like it, but that might just be me getting exceedingly excited because the colours are such a good match. I am thinking something like empower people wherever you go. It's giving me a really good sort of feminist feel to go with this lovely lady. So now, when I am using, your Wordy stickers come and they have rounded edges. I nearly always, I try not to say never or always because that's how you get caught out, but I nearly always cut those rounded corners off. The reason we do them with rounded corners though is because it's easy to snip some rounded corners off, but if you wanted rounded corners, that's hard to do for that match. Okay, and I usually cut them down to make them smaller anyway. Alright, so I've got empower people wherever you go. We've made a decision on the flower. I can have a look for something smaller if you think. Or the ones I found, we do also have because I also stamped several of the clocks, but I'm wondering if they're too heavy. These frames sort of work though, don't they? I'm kind of liking those frames. Feel like they add something without overpowering. But you think as I'm near the end of the book, it'll be safer to put on because it's not going to get crumpled. That's fair. Flower. Okay. Alrighty. So, sorry, let me finish this sentiment. Wherever you go. Now, I've had a few questions recently through YouTube. A few messages where people say, when you're building a background, do you try and avoid places where you think the sentiment will go later? So, for example, the sentiment on here is going to be covering up her clothes. So would that have stopped me putting the dots on with my Posca pen? Yeah, no. No. Because I think you have to build it however you want. And if you art journal like me, and it's a building process, you know, I don't know how I'll feel. So I can't leave any blank spots that I'm not happy to be blank. On the off chance, I might put something there later. Because who knows if I will. So honestly, just build your pages how you feel. I mean, sometimes you'll have more an idea how you want it to be finished anyway. But I wouldn't necessarily try and preempt that too much, because you could end up making something that you're not that happy with, or I'm really not sure. Like, I'm really not sure. Just don't know if the... Sorry, I'm just going to take my time a second and just see how things look on the screen, because it does give you a different viewpoint. Let me take that off. I found so many fussy cut bits when I was tidying, which was nice in a way, because I thought I was missing loads. I think the thing is, because I've done the white highlights on it, I would actually do it more that way. But I've put the white highlights on it a different way. Maybe that's what's annoying me. Let's have a look. It's easy. It's funny, isn't it, how you can just put so much down and then all of a sudden it's just one thing. Just one thing. No, I'll tell you what, let's sort of do it to the side so the green lines are going up and downy, and I think that will help how I feel about the whole thing. I absolutely love it. So this, like I say, this was really to show that, you know, we've got a small book here. I can't measure it because the ruler I have balances under my iPad that I'm filming with. It's not a perfect process in here. Right, let's have a look. So the pages I have are 4-inch square, which is roughly 10 centimetres. Okay, rough figures and whatever. And obviously I'm using A5 papers. But it is, you can just pick those highlighted areas out. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing. And I think at the minute as well, we're all really busy and life is very much getting in the way for a lot of us. So if you're not having time, or you're not feeling like you've got that drive, mojo, creativity, energy to create a bigger page, grab a small notebook. This is literally just a notebook. It is not a small journal. Look, I've stuck half the pages together. We'll worry about that later. You know, it's just note paper that I then layer on and whatever, and it's such a fantastic tool. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Please head on over to the Be Crafty YouTube channel where you can find loads of videos. If scrapbooking is something you're interested in, I have started doing scrapbooking on the first Tuesday of every month in my Try It Out Tuesday, but there is lots of videos to go through using lots of Be Crafty products, and you can check out the playlists. For example, if it is just art journaling you're interested in, you can click on those. If it is just scrapbooking, etc., you can click on those. There's also some product lists too. But if there's anything on the Be Crafty website that you are unable to find, or you're finding it difficult to find, please get in touch. Okay guys, thank you so much for your company on this very hot afternoon. Let's all go and grab a refreshment. Bye.